Pepecoin holders, are we getting ready to see a further drawdown, or are we getting ready to see somewhat of a bottom playing out here on Pepe and maybe potentially a good buying opportunity? We're going to be talking about that today. Welcome back to the Crypto Report. I'm maxi. Hit that like button, hit that bell, subscribe to the channel right now. Let's hop in this video. All right, guys. So we are starting off here on the daily time frame on TradingView. And guys, I'll be honest, I think that there's a good chance, especially looking at the daily time frame, that we are trying to find a bottom here. You know, the sellers are exhausted. If you see all those memes of David Goggins and he's never exhausted and he's running. But all jokes aside, I think a lot of the selling is somewhat done. The only people that really could be selling are like people that are in like vesting scenarios. But when it comes to Pepe, I don't really think there's much of that. But the reason why I want to say that we're getting close to somewhat of a bottom is when you look at Market Cipher, you can see that we're seeing basically the money flow starting to curve up quite significantly. Yeah, it looks like we're coming down a little bit here, but I do think that seeing somewhat of some curvature is a good sign, okay? A good sign. And, you know, we are below the bullish trend line. The bullish trend line being at, like, right now about 5085435. That's a very important level. But right now, we're just basically range bound in between really a line that we've been playing with as support for a significant amount of time. When you look back here, we've been flirting with this level for basically, you're talking 408 days, about over a year, right? About a year and a quarter now. And I will say that based on what's going on, like also you see this too, which I like to see, a little bit of that green dot on the momentum waves. It's looking like it wants to continue to the upside, and it looks like we could be potentially seeing a little bit of a W pattern playing out here. And if that does play out, then I would expect a breakout above the bullish trend line and probably flip it and turn it as support. So I do think that I've been talking for a while now on the Crypto Report, especially when it comes to Pepe, saying I'm not short anymore. I'm not shorting. I'm looking for long opportunities because, guys, it is a desert wasteland in the crypto space right now. Crypto Twitter, on crypto YouTube, everyone's so quiet. Everyone left. Everyone got spooked when we saw this big drawdown, all these tariffs. The traditional market took a big move to the downside. Now everyone's freaking out, and rightfully so. Risk on assets are not in a favorable position right now. But, guys, during times like this comes massive opportunity. And now, can we go further down? Yeah, it's possible. My line in the sand, really, like we could wick down to say 5.0578, and I would say, okay, that's okay as long as we're not closing below it, because you can see that we're starting to see a little bit of trajectory that maybe we are starting to bottom out here. There's a good chance maybe a little bit of a double bottom price action here. But let's take a deeper dive into this, all right? So Pepe right now is sitting at rank 29, up about 3.74% in the past 7 days. Really nothing's been happening in the past 24 hours. Guys, it is a holiday weekend coming up, so expect weak price action. The traditional market is closed tomorrow as well, so expect low volume, my friends. Boring, low volume. Sitting below a $3 billion market cap right now. We're kind of flirting back and forth between $3 billion. But I expect this. When you start to find a bottom, you see volume get squeezed. You see very, very tight trading windows before eventually you see a larger breakout. Now, why am I leaning bullish, guys? We got that daily closure above the 84,500. Basically, it was like 84,300 on Bitcoin. And it is setting us up for potentially the beginning, the first hope, the first line of hope for a bullish reversal. All right, guys? And that's why I am I'm being optimistic. I'm cautiously optimistic that we're going to be having a bullish reversal here. I'm cautiously optimistic. Yes, there's invalidations. We'll talk about that shortly. But right now, I'm looking for longs. And if you guys want to take advantage of this volatility, maybe open some longs as well, check out the description box below or pinned comment down below. We have a $5,000 sign-up bonus to Blowfin. All you do is click that link, deposit, trade a little bit. You get a bunch of free money. And, yeah, guys, I think that there's good opportunity coming. But right now, I am just keeping my eyes open. I have certain limit orders set for really just Bitcoin right now. But when it comes to leverage long on Pepe, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the right signals. So let's talk about Bitcoin here for a second. So we got our closures, right, above 84,300. Now, what am I expecting? Well, either we are seeing volume get pinched and we start to come up and test 88K now, or we start to break down here and come and test anything above 77K. I think that's possible. All right. If that happens, yes, that is a M pattern, but I will also say that that would be a good chance to find a bottom here and set us up for a test of 88K. So there's two little scenarios I'm keeping my eyes out for, but right now, I think that there's probably a higher likelihood chance that we spill over here and come and basically set a double bottom here, and you see this big V shape here, and basically set us up for a test at 88K. That's kind of what my eyes are looking for when it comes to being cautiously optimistic for a bullish reversal, because, guys, we did get our first closure here. This is important to know. If you don't know anything about technical analysis here, just know that, to put it simply, closing above this, basically this low before we saw this big breakdown, is the first line of us flipping this bearish trend, this downward sideways price action to a bullish reversal, setting us up for a test of 88K, 94K. And guys, if we test 94K, depending on the time horizon, if we hit 94K around, say, basically like after May, I would say that'd be a good time to be looking for. I think there's a good chance that we double top around $110,000 to $120,000 Bitcoin. So I am optimistic here. Now, what could bring us further down? What would be my worry, like where I'd be like, okay, I'm worried about this in the short term. I think something else is happening here. Well, it'd be any closures below 74,000, any daily candle closures, because that would be indicating, hey, we're making a new low and we're probably going to break below 73K on the daily time frame for Bitcoin. And really the only way I see that playing out here is if the S&P 500 breaks down below 5,000 and closes below 5,000 on the traditional market, okay? We can have a wick, that's fine. We already had that. There's a good chance that we are starting to, guys, I'm not gonna say we're starting to bottom out on the S&P 500. This does not look like a bottom to me. This looks like we want to come back down here and at least test 5,000. I think that's fine. We can do that. I just don't really want to be making a new low. If we're making a new low on the S&P 500, that basically would be an indicator to me that we are probably either waiting for the Fed to step in or we're going into a recessionary period. It might be a little bit too little too late for the Fed to step in at that point. But really got to keep our eyes on 5,000, because if we close below that, then I think, yeah, Bitcoin's going to bleed down below 73K, and Pepe is probably going to come and test my line in the sand here at 5044723 and make a new low. So we are in a middle ground here. Like, that's what I'm saying. I'm cautiously optimistic because Bitcoin is signaling that it wants to go higher. The first line of hope. That's it. That's all we're seeing, all right? And if we see that play out, then we're going to see Pepe catch a bid. We're going to see everything catch a bid. But if the S&P 500 breaks down and we come and test that $5,000 territory, then expect further sell-off for Bitcoin and the traditional market in the short term. Because we have been seeing somewhat of a little bit of a decoupling between Bitcoin and the traditional market, but I think it's very, very short term. Bitcoin and the S&P 500, no matter what anybody tells you, they always say, oh, it's decoupling, it's decoupling. That's a myth. It's a myth. They almost always come back together at some point, almost always, and usually the only time it decouples is when Bitcoin is breaking down while the traditional market is going up. That's just my 2 cents on that. I do want to say, guys, this is a funny little meme I posted on crypto Twitter. You can follow me at 33blacksea. I said, buy the dip. When the markets look like this, guys, like there is opportunity. Like, that's why I keep reiterating I'm looking for longs. I'm not saying you should do that. I'm not a financial advisor. That's not financial advice, but I'm just telling you guys what I'm doing, and I'm looking for longs. And I'm also buying. I am buying this dip, guys. I am buying Bitcoin head over shoulders. I was about to say, yeah, I'm buying Bitcoin head over shoulders, guys. Okay, I'm head over shoulders, and I'm going to continue to accumulate. Bitcoin is I've been saying for a while, I'm a altcoin trader and I'm a Bitcoin investor, and as Bitcoin continues to break down, I'm going to be buying that dip more and more and more, guys. This is a long play, all right? But when it comes to Pepe, I gave you my different outcomes I'm looking at right now. Cautiously bullish right now. Guys, if you like this type of content, please hit that like button. Follow me, 333 Black Sea on Twitter and Instagram. That's all I got. I'll see you next one. Bye-bye.